like our videos, go ahead and subscribe and share them and hit that like button for me. Hey everybody, it's Matt with Everywhere Auto Repair. Today I'm out here at a 2004 Chevy Cavalier. Customer's got a battery that's not charging. Here, let's all have a talk. Customer's got a battery that's not charging, and the got a new battery and tested it, and whenever the car was running, it was only charging at like 11 volts. So we're gonna go ahead and put a new alternator in. The first thing you need to do is disconnect the negative terminal on your battery. Next thing I did was take this air thing off right here, or I guess it went like that. You just undo the screw right there, take it off. This guy is held on by that band right there, that clamp, and it goes like that. So what you got to do in order to get this sideways thing, you have to come in from the side, and there is, see that little passage? So you come in and boom. So after you get that stuff off, you're gonna come over here and you're gonna take the clamp off of this hose right here. And if you've been watching any of my videos, remember we get the clamp down. I like to use channel locks or vice grips because it holds it in place. And then it might be stuck on there, but all we gotta do is twist and pull. And once you get it to twist to break this rubber free, it'll come out easier. So take that out and you're gonna position it off to the side. And then you've got this little reservoir clamp right here. Same thing if it's stuck. If it's stuck, you just twist it and then pull it off. And then there's a tensioner. It's right here. Now, I'm not really gonna be able to show you easily what the tensioner looks like or how to get to it. But basically, I take my 3/8 ratchet. Okay, this is a pretty long one. This is my gear wrench flex head 120 XP, and I have it set to off so that the, lefty loosey style, and then I slide the ratchet in there while I'm looking down. I'm like looking down in here with my flashlight, shining it in over here, while I have my ratchet coming in from over here, and then I get it into the little slot on the tensioner. Get it into the little slot on the tensioner, and then you ratchet it upwards, counterclockwise, and then the belt is gonna get loose enough to where you can slip it off of the alternator. Now you gotta be careful. These are old cars. If you just crank on that tensioner as hard as you can and don't stop, you're gonna have to replace the tensioner because it's gonna break, because it's like 20 years old. All right, so that's how far we are right now. And now I'm going to take the bolts out that, no, actually the next step is to disconnect the electrical connections. Make sure your battery is disconnected. Next, I'm going to take off this little bolt right here, which is the dipstick bracket. So now you can see there's this plug right here, and I'm just gonna reach my hand in here and pull it out. So see, there's this clip right here. I just get my finger underneath it, and then I bloop. Okay, so this is the bottom bolt that everybody's tripping on. They want you to lift the car up and get at it from underneath, which is cool, I guess, if you feel like getting your jack out of your car, or if you have it handy. Maybe it's easier to set that up, but I just reached in there. I put my ratchet with my socket on the bolt, and I broke it loose pretty easy, and maybe this would be more trouble if it were rusted on, but I have my full length ratchet in there, and right now I'm just spinning it free right now. All right, so I got the bottom bolt out. I just reached in there and got it loose and took it out. Now I'm going to take these two top bolts out. All right, so I got the alternator bolts out, and I rotated the alternator up so that I could get to the other terminal. See, I've got a deep well socket on it. It's a 13, and then I'm gonna come in with my extension so that I'm out here. Grab my ratchet, and then hopefully this thing doesn't just twist like no tomorrow. I'm gonna use both hands. All right, this can be tricky, so I want you guys to look and see exactly how I've got things set up. I have the bracket for the dipstick unbolted and moved back so that I can get the alternator out of the way. This hose, I've got it tucked out of the way behind this little stick right here. I've got the reservoir for the coolant hose, the coolant hose, the coolant reservoir hose. Got that thing tucked away over here. And now I'm just gonna reach in here, and I just took that bolt off, so everything's disconnected, and then just psych, I'm gonna have to use two hands. But basically, I'm just gonna yank this thing out this way. All right, so the good news is I did just yank the alternator out right now. Bad news is when I did it, I popped off the little ring for the dipstick, so I have to replace that. All right, so the new alternator is in there, and I know I kind of was rough pulling it out, but to get it in, I just kind of got it in there and then moved this a little out of the way, pulled this back a little bit, and it just slipped right in there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate it around. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but now you can see I've got that bolt exposed. So I'm gonna take this little nut off, and then here's my electrical connection. So I made sure that I pulled this out to the side because it's so easy to bury your electrical cables whenever you're putting parts back in. So you don't want to do that. Pull it off to the side before you put the alternator in. Okay, I've got the alternator mounted in there. So I'm gonna take my left hand and I'm gonna hold it up a little bit while I take my right hand and put our mounting bolts in. Okay, so what I did, I just reached my hand up in there, and I had the bottom bolt, and I just put it in there, and then I took my right hand and I lifted the alternator to adjust so that I could get the bolt into the hole, and I started to thread it in, got it in as much as I could, and now I'm gonna go in here with that stubby ratchet right there, minus the extension. I'm gonna use the stubby ratchet with the standard 3/8 13 mil socket, and we're gonna tighten everything up. All right, so I got the belt on. There is no easy way to get the belt on that I know of. But anyways, now I'm gonna put this hose back on the reservoir, put that guy back on there, put the hose back on the top here. I'm gonna take my channel locks, or my vice grips I mean, clamp this, put it over here, clamp this, put it over here. I'm gonna take my little 10 mil bolt, put it there for my dipstick, put it back. All right, so I slipped this back on, and remember, we need a long screwdriver, and we come in from the side, and we'll see if we can get an eye on it. And we're gonna take this guy and slip it on right there. No, backwards. Slip it on right there and up there, and we're gonna tighten these two clamps. And the last step is to reconnect your battery, and we're gonna go ahead and put some coolant in there. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope that this video helps you. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. If you could, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, all that stuff. Keep it happy, guys.